Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the final installment 2020 of BizBuySell's webinar for using BrokerWorks to optimize your online marketing. It's 10 o'clock here in San Francisco and 1 o'clock back east. Thank you for joining us wherever you might be, and happy holidays and an early Happy New Year. I'm really excited to present to you all the deck we have today about using BrokerWorks, learning about how to best position yourself in the market, how to best present your listings, and give you a little insights about how we distribute them across the internet, and give you some ideas about what you can do to get in front of the right eyes in the right places with the best results. I'm really happy to be joined by Jason Tom, who's our sales manager, and Madeline Lynn, who is a account executive here who works on helping users like yourselves really get the most out of their BrokerWorks membership. A few housekeeping notes before we begin. There is a questions toolbar or pane in your toolbar that you can use to submit questions to us. We'll be monitoring them and doing our best to get to them in real time as they're pertinent to the deck and the slide. If we aren't able to get to them during the webinar, we'll do a little Q&A at the end, make sure we handle all relevant questions for the presentation, especially those that might be relevant to other users who would be interested in those answers. A recording of this webinar will be made available tomorrow morning. It will be hosted on YouTube. Again, it will be available tomorrow morning. So if you're really excited to look at it again in 20 minutes, unfortunately, it won't be ready then. So I really appreciate your patience and understanding. Finally, we do have a survey at the end of the webinar. When you exit the webinar, it'll immediately come up. We really appreciate you taking the time to submit that feedback. We use it to learn how we're doing so that we can best serve the business broker community, especially as we turn the books to 2021. So thank you in advance for doing that. They're all 1 to 5s, 1 being you completely disagree, and 5 being you 100% agree with the prompt. So without further ado, I am really happy to introduce our speakers, Jason and Maddie. Good morning, everybody, guys.
Morning, Brendan, and good morning, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, depending on where you are today. Thank you so much for tuning into our monthly webinar that we put on just to go over tools that you can use to optimize your online marketing. I see a lot of new faces and names here today, so I really appreciate all of you tuning in. Let's see if this will work for me. Perfect. I am joined today by Jason Tom. He is, as Brendan said, our sales manager at BizBuySell. He's also familiar with the LoopNet and CoStar products as well. And again, my name is Madeline. Hey, Jason, how's it going?
Thanks, Maddie. Yeah, today we'll make it short and to the point. I think we all know when you watch webinars, you can get distracted doing a couple other things. Big takeaways, we just want to put everyone in position to get more leads and really ramp up your business as we transition to 2021. Again, Brendan mentioned it. If you have questions, feel free to fire away. If we don't get to them, we will reach out to you individually. I would also encourage everyone, as Maddie said, there are a lot of new faces on the webinar, so we hope this is a really good learning experience. We would also encourage you to reach out. So feel free to email me at jtom@bizbuysell.com. And what we can do is we can also schedule a one-on-one with a customer success rep to kind of go over your account and make sure you're in position if you want some more individual attention. So don't hesitate on that. But from right now, I'll send it back to Maddie and let her take it away.
Perfect. And yeah, Brendan mentioned this will be recorded. So for those who just jumped on, this is recorded. It will be sent out or made available to you tomorrow morning. So if you're trying to follow along with us, more power to you, but we might be going a little quick. So don't fret. You will get a recorded copy as well. Okay, great. Let's get started. What we're going to go over today, we'll start off with an overview of BizBuySell, and then we'll dive into your BrokerWorks membership. And if that term is new to you, BrokerWorks is just the product. So the membership you have with us is called your BrokerWorks membership. We'll talk about how to attract new clients with your profile. And then Jason's going to dive into marketing your business listings online. Perfect. Okay, getting started. So it's important to remember that your membership is split into two pieces. I think most are familiar, or what brought you to the site is you want to list your business opportunities, but don't forget you also have a profile. And sometimes this gets overlooked, but this is where you can talk about yourself and your brokerage. It gets listed in our directory, and anyone selling a business will be able to find you and give you a call if they're interested in having you list their business. So on the screen here is a quick video how this works. If I'm a seller looking for a broker, I'm going to run a state and county search. You can see on the screen Sacramento County, California, and I'm going to run it. So depending on what level of membership you're at determines your placement in this directory. It also determines how many searches you're coming up in, elites being at the top, premiums you can see currently below the top elite profiles, and then basics will be towards the bottom. So again, depending on what county you're in, could be 2 pages like you see here, could be up to 5, 6 pages of brokers. So you determine how competitive you'd like to be on the platform. Okay, so it's important to see that angle, what searchers are seeing, but under the hood, what is included in each of these membership levels. So premium and elite accounts obviously stand out above basics, but don't fret. No matter what level of membership you're in, it comes with some great features. Everyone is listed on our network, which means you're on BizBuySell, BizQuest, LoopNet, and around 80 additional partner sites, including the Wall Street Journal Business, USA Today. You have detailed listing metrics and tracking tools for both your profile and your listings. And also you have access to our comp reports. Where the premium and elite accounts stand out, they're going to have, again, enhanced exposure on high traffic pages. You can see they're placed higher in the directory, but they're also going to receive a monthly Showcase Plus email credit, which is something Jason will talk about a little later in the listing section. Perfect. Wanted to check the questions there real quick. Looks like we're all good. Okay, perfect. So when you're diving into your membership for the first time, this is the screen you're going to see first. This is called your dashboard. I have Randy Hendershot here as an example. As you get started and you have listings in there and you start building out your profile, you'll see active stats across the top here. You can see the broker profile displays. So that means Randy's profile has come up in almost 25,000 searches. Again, that's the strength of the elite profile. And the goal here is to have 100% completeness. So you can see here he has achieved that. And how do we do that? So if you are following along and you've never looked at your profile before, under the My Account tab over here on the left, that's where you'll click, and then the first option is My Profile. And you'll be taken to a screen that looks like this. So at the very top are your areas served. So I keep mentioning counties. Counties are where this profile is going to come up in those searches. If you remember back to that first slide with the video, so you can see this is a premium member. There's 5 counties he got to enter in, and he's chosen those, and he has his broker license number in here because he's in California. So definitely make sure you have at least that part of the profile filled out. But as you continue to craft this profile, what else is important? So again, this is your opportunity to attract seller leads. So you want to stand out. You do so by adding a professional photo, your company logo and your website URL. You can see that's listed here. Make sure that link works. Make sure it's not I'm not gonna click on it. I'm gonna be taken to some wonky website. And then craft your intro and your background. Keep it short and sweet. Not too much information. You want to grab people's attention in the first few sentences, and then connect any professional groups or affiliations. You can see here, Randy is involved in the IBBA and CAB. We'll talk about how to connect those in a second, but if you are a member of any state groups or the IBBA, M&A Source, we're going to allow you to link those up on your BizBuySell profile. Okay, so why is this essential? Again, I sometimes feel like the profile gets overlooked. Listings are more important. I have some clients say, but this is really, your opportunity to talk your brokerage up, to attract these new seller leads. And again, the strength of the profile is determined by what level you're at, but there are ways to optimize no matter where you stand. So this is your opportunity to make a strong first impression. You want to highlight everything you do, everything you're involved in, explain how you can help these sellers, of course, and give your clients a reason to choose you over the competition. Okay, so back to those groups that I was just talking about. What we have done is create this partner list. So these are no additional cost to you, websites you can link up with this profile. So LinkedIn is probably the most popular. You'll click these little plus signs you see over on the right-hand side. Click that, you'll sign into your LinkedIn account, and then automatically any listings that you add on BizBuySell will feed over there. IBBA and M&A members, please connect these accounts. You do receive more leads by being a member of these associations because sellers looking for a broker can narrow their searches down by brokers who are included in these groups. So definitely connect those if you are a member, and if you're not, maybe consider joining one of these groups. Perfect. Okay. Having a complete profile works, obviously on the website, but it's going to work when someone is searching you just on Google, Yahoo, Bing. Let's say a friend refers someone to Randy, and first thing I'm going to do is Google him, right? So I run a search of his name, his website comes up, his LinkedIn profile, he has this advisory network he's included in, but then his BizBuySell account too. Right, so this is all building credibility, ensuring that I trust Randy, that I have multiple websites I can scope him out on before I give him a call to list, my business with. So it works in that specific name search, but it also works in a more general search as well. So on the screen grab to the left here, you can see I'm running a search for San Francisco business brokers. Right away, BizBuySell pops up as #1. Typically, BizQuest would be the next one underneath. You can see it's Sunbelt in that screen grab. And then once I click into BizBuySell, I'm taken right into that broker directory where I can now start searching for a broker that fits my needs. So again, this is just all driving home the point. Maybe the profile wasn't exactly what you signed up for. You're more focused on the listings that you have, but this is such a great tool, and this is part of your membership cost. So please take advantage of it. Make sure it's all filled out, ready to go, so people can start giving you calls. Perfect. So I'm going to toss this over to Jason, who's going to talk about your listings.
Perfect. Thanks, Maddie. Nice job. Yeah. So just to piggyback on that, it's your online presence, and all this what we're going over is it's trying to separate yourself from your competition. So when you look at whether it's listings or you look at your profile, there's a lot of people in every market trying to get more listings, trying to get more business. And the profile side is to keep your engine running. And now what I'm going to discuss is your listings. So like your current pipeline of what you have going on right now, the listings, what's the best way to get those in a position into contract? I mean, the real goal of what we're trying to accomplish up here at BizBuySell is to get your email and your phone basically to ring or get emails coming in of lead opportunity. At that point, it's your job as sales professionals to get that deal into contract and get things sold and get your reputation out there to drive more opportunity. So to start, BizBuySell has been around for over 25 years, and we've taken a lot of data at a lot of different listings on what works. And what we know what works to drive the best outcome for your listings are a couple of key points, right? Including the right location, the completeness of the listing with financials, writing it in a professional manner, creating a visual image of what you're actually marketing on the site, and then just different ways to upgrade the listing to put it in the best position based on economic times. Like right now, there's a lot of opportunity to upgrade listings. Let's say like pizzas, places are doing well, coin operated, laundromats are doing well. Those are listings that are getting a lot of attention, and people like to drive more marketing dollars into those to put them at the top of the search results. So we'll go through some of those options, but feel free to stop us and ask any questions along the way. So to start, what we want to do is think how people search. I know we all have in our minds when we add a listing on what it looks like and how to market it, but think about the other end, right? How do people use BizBuySell to find business opportunity? And typically it's three factors. It's location, category, and price range. So you as a lister or a broker or an agent who's listing a property, if you are not including category, location by county, state, and city, it's going to be hard for someone to find your listing in our marketplace. The other point is price range. So if you think of, I'm not going to put the price range, well, that takes you out of search results. So we understand there's a lot of confidentiality you have with your sellers, but when you engage them, set some expectations on what you need to put yourself in a position of success to drive leads. So when you meet with them the next time, you can say, hey, like the price point might be out of whack, but we have to put something in because we need people to call. We've got to find opportunity to move this listing. And right now there's a lot of different circumstances, and we understand that. So we want to make sure we're disclosing as much information as possible. Professional writing is a key point, and I think if anyone goes on to BizBuySell and you run a search, I think there's a lot of different guidelines on what professionalism and writing goes into. So what we know is that all caps doesn't attract more engagement. It doesn't attract more engagement when you're not spell checking either. So we want to make sure that you're coming, it's a reflection of yourself. So make sure you go through your listings thoroughly, put it in a Word document first, spell check it, ask the peer to read it, transaction coordinator, whoever's in your office. I guess if you're not in office, email to someone, just make sure they reread the listing before you actually publish it, because when people see a lot of misspellings and poor grammar, the hesitation of clicking on your phone number or even emailing you goes down, and we want to make sure we avoid that. The main takeaway also is the number one searchers, the complaint they call in on an email on a daily basis is brokers don't return their phone calls. Sounds crazy, but it's very true. Our customer success team gets multiple calls every single day. I'm trying to reach this broker regarding this listing, and I cannot get this person to call me back. So make sure that you answer your phone. Make sure that you're giving yourself a time slot. So if you get a voicemail, make sure you're getting back to all your voicemails within an hour or 2 hours at the very least. All it's going to do is help you build a pipeline. So it might not be a good fit for right now, but it could be a better fit for something down the road later. Get them in the pipeline and start working that down the road. So get back to your customers is the main takeaway. So when you add a listing to in your profile and you add a new listing, you're going to come to a page that looks like this. And what we want is we want to make sure you have both categories included. So we see the primary business type, and let's just say I always use this example, but it's a restaurant for sale. And let's say that restaurant has a bar component. So the primary business could be restaurant. The secondary business type, you could put bar or tavern. And what that will do is people who are searching for restaurants, your listing will show up. People who are showing for bars and taverns, your listing will show up. Again, exposure. The more eyes create the more clicks create more actions. And that's what we want, eyes and clicks. So the bottom part, I mentioned it a little bit with confidentiality. Everyone has different guidelines with your seller. Do your best to kind of overcome this obstacle. We understand the address side of it, but city, county, and state. If you think about your typical buyer and someone who's trying to buy a business, the city, county, and state, like that's exactly what they're going to choose first when running a search. So if you don't include that, expect that those potential buyers are not going to be seeing your listing. So city, county, state, make it a best practice as you move forward. It's just going to drive more activity to your cell phone and your inbox. So when you add a listing, we get this question quite a bit. It's your listing. You have complete control over that listing. And Maddie showed us the dashboard before, but on that left-hand column, you can actually see my listings in a drop-down. And right here, you'll see the 11 listings that this customer has. And in every listing, you'll see a listing actions. And this is kind of like your home base for each one of your listings to see how it's performing on the site. It also gives you control over the listing. So as time goes on with your listing agreement, let's say it's, you have a 9 or 12-month listing agreement for a business is pretty typical. You can, change prices, change photos, rewrite your marketing strategy, do whatever you think is right to attract more buyers. So you have control of that at any given time. Adding photos right underneath the edit button. So we want to make sure you have the ability to create a visual of what the establishment looks like. The way technology works, everyone has a pretty strong cell phone. My best practice that I tell the brokers across the country is don't wait on your seller to come up with a photo. Be proactive, get in front of it, either take a photo that they agree to, and send them an email with all the different images that you think, meets their guidelines, where they're not disclosing too much so people in the neighborhood don't, freak out. But we want to make sure that you get a photo up. All it does is drive more views and clicks when the photo is included versus not having one. If you don't have one, we do have some solutions that we'll get to. But again, this is the place where you'd want to just attach a photo, search your computer, and then you can add that on. This is a photo that we have from Pexels. We do have guidelines in terms of how we want the photo to come in, so it actually comes up clearly. This isn't an opportunity to market yourself. So at one point, we had a few customers that would put up pictures of tacos, and then they put a screenshot of the portrait right in the middle of it. Again, this is for the restaurant. It's not for your self-branding. We want to make sure that across the board, and this goes with all the companies under the CoStar group, we want to make sure we're representing the actual listing, has nothing to do with you. So the guidelines that we have on the size of the photo, and if you don't have a photo, we use a company called Pexels. It's free stock images, and the photo you saw before of the tacos, you can just type in tacos and that image would show up. So again, if your seller doesn't want you to go use a personal photo or a real life photo, go to Pexels and you can find a stock photo, and it still does drive engagement. Straightforward, we see these. We call the brokers on these listings to try and help them be put in a different category, because this listing isn't going to drive any views or clicks. People have their own versions of marketing. We're telling you when you go online, this does not work. So avoid this and try and focus more on something like this. And here's some of the data points in terms of how complete listings drive more leads. And that's why you're on our site. That's why you're paying for our service, is to drive leads. So the more complete you can be with your listing, the more leads you can expect to have. And another thing is we want to make sure what is good, like how do you know if your listing's performing? So I have a complete listing, but what does that mean, right? How do I quantify this? The baseline in online advertising is if you have a 2% click rate, that's success. Right now, they're not always going to turn to leads, but that's the benchmark you always want to thrive for with every one of your listings. And in here, like you can see, we talked about the listing actions where you can change your listing, add a photo, but further down you can see view stats. This is live information that's built on a weekly basis. So every week you can actually see how your listing is performing. Great information to share with your seller, right? And sometimes it doesn't always paint the best picture, but that's also room for opportunity. Is it priced correctly? All the different challenges that are going on. Is the category, is the type of listing. Some listings are having a lot of trouble finding a buyer just based on what's going on in the world today. So take those things into consideration, but always strive for 2%. If you're at 1% or below or not there, rethink on what you're doing. Give it some time, but like constantly rethink on what the best way to present that listing is. So outside of the stats, we also do provide you with the ability to kind of build your pipeline like we've talked about a little bit through this section. And these are the leads. Again, BizBuySell and BrokerWorks is not a CRM. This isn't a place to manage your leads or your pipeline, but it is a great place to understand what leads are coming from what marketing. So we always do track all the leads that come through. You can export this at any given time. And at that point, you can actually save that to a hard drive, and as you go, or to your desktop, and then every year as you go through your marketing budget, you can look through your list, your leads, and kind of just say, what's the ROI of the spend that I'm going through. So finally, this is actually a search that's going on in the restaurant business in San Francisco, and you can see from top to bottom, there is diamonds, showcase, and then as we get towards the bottom, you can see the basic listings. So as you go through this, understand just the stack rank on how our marketplace works. So when you add a listing, know where you're going to come up in those search results. Different listings have different priorities, but it's important just to understand where those go. So benefits of upgrading a listing. It's pretty straightforward. When you look at diamonds, the top always get the most amount of views and clicks. It's just the way marketplaces work. Below that second tier is the showcase, and then below that is the basic. So with all your memberships that you guys are on, whether it's elite, premium, or basic, that's your membership side. Your listings are all coming in as basic listings. So in certain cases, if you're a premium member, you do have a Showcase Plus email credit that can bring your listing up. You can choose to actually pay for slots with our Showcase Choice. You can have multiple listings with higher placement. And then at the very end, you can actually go to Diamond. And what I would do is say, Maddie does have some specials running on diamonds. Again, this is an educational call, but if you do have a listing, whether it's at the end of your listing agreement or a listing that needs some more attention, that you're trying to get some more action around, definitely contact Maddie about this. She has some promotions that are running this month around diamonds specifically, and it's always good just to be informed on what's going on in case that's something you want to look at. When to do it, we talked about a little bit. Different markets call for different actions. So, I'll use Los Angeles and restaurants as just an example. There's a lot of listings in LA, and that's very different than the market in Wichita, Kansas. Just the amount of overall inventory. And if you were to go to restaurants, you could probably get 12 to 15 pages of restaurants that are going on in the Los Angeles market. So, if you want to separate yourself from all those listings, that's the time to upgrade a listing. Timeline, and then obviously skin in the game. The majority of the folks here, 1099. You kill what you eat, and we want to make sure that price point. If you have something over a certain threshold, usually we see it's over that 800,000 mark, kind of goes to that diamond side. If you have a listing like that, definitely reach out to us. We want to make sure that you're in a position to earn that commission. So at that point, I'm going to just wrap it up. I'm going to bring this back to Maddie, and we'll take it from there.
Great, thanks, Jason. It's important again to get your listings and your profile up to date, in a position to attract more leads, more exposure. So just some key takeaways and action items for you moving forward. Log in, just check out what the strength of your broker profile is. Make sure all of your counties are filled out for sure. Make sure you at least have that photo in there as a bare minimum. Once that profile is taken care of, link your accounts. So whether that's LinkedIn, IBBA, CAB, for those in California, connect those accounts, create compelling listings, right? So it's not just about adding information just to get it done. Really think about what's going to attract these potential buyers, what's going to grab their eyes. And so review your listings, no typos, make sure a photo's in there. And then monitor as this goes on, as your listing is up, check out the stats, check out your leads, make sure that click rate's at 2%. And then, consider if you're at a basic level membership or you have a basic listing, think about your options. You have upgrade options available if it's not performing the way you want it to. You can give me a call if you want me to take a look at something on your listing, or if you have any questions at all. Premium and elite members, please do not forget to use those monthly Showcase Plus email credits. They are a use it or lose it. You get it every month on the 1st to apply to one of your listings. It comes with a buyer blast email, normally a $60 upgrade. So please take advantage of those. And again, we're here to help. Jason and I, or anyone on the sales team, on the customer support team, would be more than happy to help you out. Perfect. My contact information here. There we go. mlynn@bizbuysell.com. If you want to shoot me an email, set up a one-on-one, or please feel free to call our customer support line, 888-777-9892. And we'd be more than happy to answer any questions. Again, this was recorded, so it'll be sent out, I believe Brendan said tomorrow morning. Yeah, and again, thank you so much for joining us, and happy holidays, and let's hope 2021 is bringing better things for everyone. Take care.